I mean, if you're Exxon or Dell, you're going to go talk to people like Jamie Dimon about borrowing billions of dollars, and you're all in the same peer group, and you live in the same world. But a community bank is part of a community. They're one of three legs. There's the bank, and there's the hospital, and there's the church.
Yeah.
And that's what makes up the character of the community. And if one of those things changes, like, I'm not picking on Chase, I just paid my credit card bill a minute ago, but Chase comes in and buys your bank. Everybody stays working there, but it's not the same bank anymore. And when it's not the same bank, it's not the same community. And so we've begun to think that it's part of our mission to help these community banks by giving them access to the same development programs that these large companies have. And what we offer is the exact same thing that Honda or Dell or any of these giant companies, it's the same program that they're using. It's just a smaller group of us doing it, and we're offering it to a smaller group of people. But what we find is we get the same results with these smaller companies as the larger Circle Group gets with these giant corporations. Actually, we sometimes get more enthusiasm because these guys are all bought in, because they know that if they're not relevant, like tomorrow, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, they won't be here.
That's exactly what I was about to say. I'm sure at the community level bank, the smaller organization bank, you see a greater impact than you do at a larger organization.
Right.
Which I'm sure is due in part to the number of people that they have underneath them that they don't touch every day.
Right.
Like you go and you help a COO or a CFO or a CEO of a community bank, and you're going to be able to walk into that facility the next day, the next week, and everyone in the bank's going to say, oh my gosh, I've noticed a difference over here, Frank. Like it's night and day from whenever they started. And when you see that at like an Exxon, you're not going to go to the meter reader and say, hey, how's the tone at the top? They may be able to say, oh, well, the email correspondence has gotten better, but they're never really going to hear from them. So it's harder to pass that down because their directs are a much different crowd.
And when you get into these really giant companies, here's a question I ask all the time. If I go to your newest employee and I say, what are the values of the company and what are your strategic anchors? Like, as in, what are the rules to make decisions if nobody's around? Would they give the same answer you'd give and the same answer your executive team would give? And the answer is usually no. Yeah. And if the answer is no, then how can they expect consistent performance down the line? And that's a manageable topic, issue at a community bank, or all the way up to, well, a big example of it is Southwest Airlines. They manage the CEO to the newest employee. When they're hired on, they're going to give the same answer to those questions. Or, have you ever been to Nordstrom's before?
I've not.
Okay. You go to your interview at Nordstrom's and you go through the whole interview process, and somewhere along the line, somebody asks you this sort of almost insignificant question: what do you think about customer service? What are your thoughts on it? And if your answer is some version of not too much, don't think about it, don't care less, doesn't matter how you answered anything else, they're going to thank you and send you on your way, because their number one thing is customer service, period.